let's go on to our last topic. Allan, I believe it's yours.
Okay, so I sent you guys a link. I don't know if anybody's read it yet or had a chance to check it out, but Jesus, Friday. But No Man's Sky just released a big content patch after not having had any communication with the community for, I think, 2 months after their launch of No Man's Sky. And it's a big update that they're hoping, I guess, will bring a lot of players back and kind of quell a lot of the anger that has happened from the under-delivery, I guess we can all agree, of No Man's Sky, on how they over-delivered on what would be in the actual gameplay and then how under-delivered on the actual execution of the gameplay. Mm-hmm. So within this, we won't really have to talk about the details of this particular DLC, but do you guys think that a game that has like a rough opening launch has the ability to carry on that fan base down the road with additional support?
No, I think it can.
Tough. I think it's going to be tough.
I think it can.
Ian, Rock, okay,
go.
Let's just go across. I'm going to go from here. Steve, what do you think?
I say no.
Okay, why?
Because I don't know, I haven't played No Man's Sky or anything, but I heard like people were disappointed it wasn't the game they thought it was going to be. That similar thing happened to me with Destiny. Like, we played it for a long time, and like, Allan, you played it too, right?
I only played the beta, but like I knew right from the get-go, like after I played that, it wasn't for me, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, we basically got through the whole game within like, I don't know, what was it, like 5 days, Rock? Something like that? Anyways, yeah, so like that, and they promised you to go into different galaxies and different things. I mean, granted, like, then I already went ahead and got the DLC, like all the extra packs and everything like that. Got the next one. I was like, okay, maybe this is going to change it. No, still didn't do it. We kind of got through that. We fell off, but then I guess they ended up keeping their fan base, right? And went out to the Taken King.
Yeah.
Like, and then like they got huge again. But like, I don't want to go back to it though. I don't want to go back to it. Like, I mean, I still know a lot of people that do play it, and I know it's actually really good. Like the new content and everything. They fix the storyline and everything, but I just don't want to do it because I don't know if it's because I've already been disappointed or I just don't want to get back into it again. I don't know.
And you're also you have so much other options out there.
Right.
Options.
So, and you're addicted to League.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Rocco, what about you?
Okay, I would say yes, because now is it going to keep you around? I don't know, but could it bring you back for at least a little bit? Yeah. The content that they were showing some videos of looks like, I mean, you got a whole new like creative engine where you can start to develop a whole, I guess like a workshop where you can park your spaceship and all this other different stuff. Like, it was kind of intended to be, I think, at least where I thought it was going to be, where you're going to be able to have this whole, exploration with this development that you can build a whole bunch and then you can do a lot more, which is what they got now. And I think that would bring me back into the game, but I don't know if it would keep me around. Like,
right,
I don't. It depends on how much content is there whenever you get into it,
So the game came out, I think, like towards the end of summer, I believe, is when the game originally came out. So say you played for like 2 weeks, you like enjoyed it, but then that third week everything kind of dropped off and you just lost your interest, right? I think that happens with all of us a lot when we buy a game because I think most of us usually get that hype from when the initial release is, and then we all kind of find something, the next hype to move on to in a few weeks. Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
So say now we're like 4 or 5 months away. What is gonna like make you want to even boot that game up in the first place? Like, see, that's the thing.
So that hypothetical is
community.
I was gonna say that hypothetical is totally different than No Man's Sky, right? Because No Man's Sky was like you could play 2 days and then be freaking done with that. Because I did 3 days of that game and I was just like, this is boring.
Yeah,
this is terrible. It wasn't even 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't get any time into it to give it like
any amount of time. Yeah.
Didn't you feel that way with Battlefront too?
Yeah,
oh yeah,
I did.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I played it for like 2-3 days, and I was like, "This is just." I just
But
couldn't get into it. I was like, and I love.
And I was gonna say that game wasn't descriptively boring. You had Darth Vader running around in a you described that, and it sounds good. So, what do you think the commonality between those two games were that allowed you to be like, "I'm done"?
I guess it's down to its like the quality of its gameplay. I guess, like, cause it was. Yeah, like the skins look great. Dark Vader was running around. It looked awesome. Like it looked just like Dark Vader, but the gameplay just didn't. It did. I don't think it didn't. I don't know how do I explain it.
There's something. There is that something though that hooks you when you're in a game, right?
Yeah.
Like The Division for me, I thought as a standalone game outside of all the multiplayer and everything, I thought the game was incredibly well crafted. Like the shooting felt incredible, the world felt really good. Like as a core, if you took that core gameplay and stuck it on something else, I think I would still enjoy it. Like Destiny, right? Like that game to me is like what Destiny should be,
right,
in terms of how it plays, but in a totally different wrapper.
Yeah. That's what they set out to do, and I feel like definitely they accomplished it.
So that's why so when trying to create it like a specific about why like Battlefront wasn't something enjoyable, I can't come up with something like
it doesn't
tangible.
hook you, like Allan was saying.
Boring, right? Like
yeah.
It was there was no hook. It was just boring.
It was repetitive. Like, there wasn't like really much customization like in your characters.
Yeah, did you guys have
there was a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Did you have a carrot that you were chasing in Battlefront?
Nothing. No, you just played in the thing and you shot people, and then eventually you can get a gun that really wasn't any better.
Okay,
that's kind of why I didn't like Overwatch, because Overwatch you couldn't customize things and everything like that. But that's why I like Paladins, because you can customize it by getting cards and building your champion in different ways. It's essentially just like Overwatch. But it's also kind of like League, because you actually get points for killing people, which is like gold, and you use it to buy certain items or cards, as they're saying. So it's fun.
I got one.
That's why I like Paladins more, because it's better. That's why it's exactly like Overwatch, but you get to customize your characters.
Answer to your question, Allan. What would bring you back to, like, if you had an expansion game, you broke away from the game, and then you want to get back into it? WoW was one of those things, right? So it's like when they create an expansion, then all of a sudden it's like a whole new game. You're like, wow, dude, whole new continent, whole new quest, new levels, now new raids, new items.
Fucking
it's like
Panda.
But games that do something like that it feels like it became a whole new game. I'm down for that.
But
even if that DLC is like the price of a game.
But
you know?
wouldn't one argue that the reason why an expansion to WoW brought you back is because WoW, the core game, was good itself? If Battlefront had an expansion, I don't necessarily to Steve's exact point and scenario, he did not want to buy the expansion of Destiny because he was burned on the core game. So even though a new whole game with I think statistically speaking, like objectively speaking, it was a better version of the game, it still didn't bring him back.
Yeah, they said the storyline, because the storyline initially didn't make any sense, and they listened to everybody about that, and they said that the storyline was like perfect in the next one, the Taken King and everything.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Taken King was better. I played the beta, I played the original, and I played the Taken King.
Okay.
Taken King was awesome. It was really good. Got to end level, liked it. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just questioning, Rocco, if that really is the thing that you need.
Would all you guys agree that nowadays, and this kind of touches on the second point I was making, that a game launch is like a movie coming out almost? It's like the most exciting possible thing for 2 weeks, but then afterwards there's going to be like another really awesome thing like the next month, right? Like so it's like you don't necessarily spend all the time that you want to spend on that game for the amount of time that's like been designed for it. And maybe like, game devs, Clay, maybe you can like jump in on this, is like they are like, all that matters is like the launch numbers, like how many sales we have in like the first 2 weeks or whatever. Like that's going to decide if we can do another game, if we can do more DLC, whatever. So if they don't catch that whatever 2 million people, I don't know how many people are supposed to be like you have target audience for a game, then how are you going to get those people to even like come look at your game 6 months down the line when there's like been 40-50 games that have come out that all are like blockbusters,
Yeah,
and it's very true. And if you think about it, No Man's Sky was one game that I said, you know what, I'm not just going to go out and buy it impulse. I'm going to let my friends and everyone play it. And there was people that were going crazy over it. I had a few guys at work that play, and they were like, oh yeah, it's great. And then day 2, they're like, yeah, it sucks. I'm like, thank God I didn't spend my money on that shit.
Meanwhile, people are like dropping buckets of money just to pre-order a game. I mean, is that concept not insane to people at this day and age?
I never pre-order.
Why do you want to pre-order a game at this point?
Yeah.
Insane.
Nope.
Sorry, you were going to say something.
No, I was No,
You lost.
He's like, I need more orange juice.
I was just gonna say, Alan, you're
Any more
absolutely
answers?
right. When game devs set out to make a game, if it's not a games for service like MMOs are, and a lot of games like have become, even Rainbow Six would be a game for service at this point. Destiny's a game for service, as they say that like they're constantly adding more content and patches so that people come back and play it. Like most of their money is make or break in those first 2 weeks. They make all of their money in those first 2 weeks. After that, that's it. Thankfully, free to play is, I believe, responsible for a lot of this, is that new business models are being created so games like Rainbow Six and Diablo 3 do not tank. They have a chance to revive and fix the mistakes. And if anything, like, it's made those games better, and it's benefited the developers and it's benefited the consumers.
Okay, so I kind of want to touch on like the success stories just real quick, like last couple minutes here. So there's games like Diablo 3. Everybody loved it for the first week. Then they realized there was nothing to do at the end game. The basic gameplay was kind of shallow, actually. The art direction was like total departure from previous Diablo games. But then they made a big patch update, I think maybe 6 months down the road, and all of a sudden they retooled the loot, the way the loot system works, like how you can auction house is gone. You can have endless kind of like procedurally generated dungeons, so you can always push yourself even when you're at max level. Why can a game like that still succeed and still have a huge player base today? Like it's like 3-4 years old, and there's still thousands and thousands and thousands of people playing this game. Why can a game like that succeed? Even Rainbow Six Siege didn't have that great of a launch when it came out. But now people are talking about it way more often because of the constant updates, and they're saying, like, actually, it's a really fun game right now. That's why I voted for it for multiplayers, because I heard so many good things about how, like, fun it was, and, like, it was a change of pace from, you know, an Overwatch-type game or any of those. Is it because these studios have the money to support something like that?
Well, how long has Diablo been out, though?
Like 4
Wow.
years.
4 or 5 years or something now at this point.
Well, even
it's
the very
been
first
4.
one, though. I'm talking about the very first one.
one.
It's like
I mean,
Well, you got to. This
long,
is
long,
where I
long.
think it gets people though, is because people like us, like World of Warcraft's been around forever, and it reminds us when we were kids again and we were playing these games. So like people that are playing Diablo right now are probably like people like kind of like us that were playing World of Warcraft or EverQuest back then. That's why like I was super psyched out about EverQuest Next if it was ever going to come out.
Yeah,
like,
but Rainbow
that's
Six,
pretty cool.
Rainbow Six Siege doesn't have that necessarily long legacy, but it does have that IP. So my immediate thought is that
I never played it,
a game with an IP can kind of withstand it, because it has that like core audience that's just gonna play it if it's bad or not. I think Diablo 3 had that. I think Rainbow Six Siege had that. They also probably had enough money to keep it alive just for another patch to fix the issues.
Blizzard will certainly be able to afford the game, you know, forever.
Right. No Man's Skies could prove us wrong in that theory, right? They are not a well-established IP. They don't have like a very strong, I would argue, player base respectively. They probably don't have the money funds equivalent to Blizzard or EA. So
It was like 20 guys, I think, made the game or something.
exactly. So I mean, if they're able to pull this off, I don't know. I mean, it just
'Cause that's
One guy
Like-
made Minecraft.
It's getting a lot of hype
I
right
can't
now, though.
believe
It's
that's
getting a
crazy.
lot of hype, like
right, like 'cause
all over.
me, yeah, No Man's Sky, the core gameplay, I enjoyed it. I think the way they designed the systems for like how you constantly have to like just be mining shit just to go to the next thing and like build stuff there. I think that core crafting gameplay of it just needed more depth, and like they needed like I think Steve was saying like an RPG style system where you're like upgrading your guy, not just like inventory slots to make your like suit better. You need some little bit more progression. And I mean, I haven't finished the game, so I don't really know what happens at the center of the galaxy, but I've kind of got that picture that it's basically like New Game Plus or something like that, something similar like that. There's not a big reveal or anything like that. So to me, if they retool a bit of the systems in the game, I could really enjoy it, because to me, just going from planet to planet, like system to system, I thought that was really, really fun. Like, it's so cool to see, you know, a totally new environment, totally new creatures and things like that. So
what's interesting is that our perspective in reality is kind of changed. Like when a game launches, it's almost like it's a beta game these days. And when you play the beta, it's almost like it was the
Battlefield 4.
Yeah.
Battlefield 4, I think.
Right. And then what happens is they get all this data and they collect what people want and what they don't want. And then they really make the game it was supposed to be at launch. And that's like when you want to like jump in. And that's when you want to come back. Because again, a game that doesn't have the funds to give it one more shot, or fails at that second shot, I think fails for good. But a game that can take that second shot and really do something with it, I think succeeds and can continue to snowball.
Last one final quick point here, just because it's another recent example. Kind of what you were saying, Clay. I think what devs should do is make a core game that is really good, like has the base that everybody can agree is like really fun, even if it doesn't have all the content they want. They agree that it's like an incredible game. You have good launch numbers, everything. So this game, Total War Warhammer, the latest Total War game, only launched with 3 classes. In the Warhammer franchise in general, there's like thousands. There's like, I don't know, not thousands, like tens of different races that you can have. So people were like, where are all these races? And they're like, hey, we're going to support this game. They told them up front, we're going to support this game for like the next 3 years. And since the game launched, I think early, like maybe spring this year, they've released DLC packs for almost like they keep adding race and race and race. So you can
pay for that?
You pay for them, but the thing is, it's totally there. You play against them in the base game, so even if you get your 4 base races, you'll still play the enemies. Elves or beastmen or chaos or whatever.
There he goes.
Great.
I saw Friday.
Great.
I think that's really good. Yep. I think what he was going with is just showing that like a game knew what it was doing from the
Mannequin
get-go.
Mannequin challenge.
Well, so that's a great idea, and if you think about it,
It's back.
And
Do you want to finish that
if
thought,
you,
Allan?
yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Okay. So, what I was gonna say at least was, if they do something like that and put a price point that's decent, like you're like, hey, this isn't the full game.
Hey.
But
sorry to leave you hanging there. But I was gonna say,
mannequin challenging, man.
but you could totally like buy DLC. Like you're like Rocco's like, fuck man, I want to play elves. Elves are the shit. I don't give a shit about any other race. I'm just gonna buy that $10 DLC pack, and now I have elves, and I can play as elves forever because I know that it's gonna be a great content pack, and I'm satisfied, right? Because then you can continually fund your game, down the road, because people have stuck around because your game as a core game was like good in the first place, right?
Yeah. Exactly. So, which goes to the point of wow.
I hate that. Just like, hey, let's just launch this thing with all these promises and everything, and like. Maybe we won't deliver, but we'll get the feedback on what like people like and people don't like,
And we'll make a bunch of money.
And we'll make shit tons of sales, on the first 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, and we'll just change our company name and just fucking make more and just say,
Ian's final thoughts are
you're joking, but I'm sure that's kind of true.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Everything and Nothing Show. I hope you enjoyed yourself here.
Fucking cliffhanger.
Wait, what? Was there any more? I'm sorry.
No, that was it. No.
Oh, okay.
It just cut me off in the last 3 sentences, so
Sorry.
Ruined it all.
Next week, there will be another episode for you of the Everything and Nothing Show. As always, you guys can support us for free on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by following us, liking us, commenting, subscribing, and sharing. It's very, very important. We're getting a lot of comments, guys, and I just kind of went and looked the other day, and I didn't realize how many we had. So it's probably something we want to pay attention to in the future. We had a lot of people talking to us, and I was just like, oh, yeah, I'll comment back, because any talk is good talk. And if you have as little as $1, you can go to patreon.com/MaelstromGamers, and you can support us with that $1. You can do it for just a month. You can do it recurringly and then forget it, set it and forget it, or you can give us $5 or $10. All those rewards are packed up in there in the Patreon. You can check it out yourself at that website. So it's super helpful. You can do the little dance of spreading the money. You can be a producer, and you can be a Maelstrom gamer. If you like that, and you like what you're hearing, and you like what you're seeing.
If you're not the best and you're not the worst, then you can be a Maelstrom gamer.
It's absolutely.
And that's everybody.
That's everybody. That's all the sexy beasts out there who are
for
watching
$1 a month.
You can check out us live streaming on Twitch and YouTube, showing off our mediocre gaming skills on League and Uncharted and all these other great games. We're not the best. We're certainly not the worst. We are.
But we are
entertaining. Okay. Sweet. High five.
I guess a 5 out of 7.
Yeah, perfect score. All right, guys.
Bye.
Peace. Take care.
All right.